Item number 6, 13100 Sunrise Plaza. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, and the case is CEWWC 2018-00096. Item number 6.
City of North Miami Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. That violation has been complied.
All right.
Item number 9, Alimentos Venezuela. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. Case CESIP 2018-00044. Item number 9.
Good evening, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was cited July 24, 2018 in reference to a prohibited banner that's placed on the building. The property was advised to obtain a variance from the CP&D department in order to have the banner. As of November 14, when the notice to appear was posted, no variance or permits have been pulled for the banner at the daycare facility.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $350.
The next item on the agenda is number 12, Anna La Rosa. Ernest Baptiste is the officer. Case CEWWC 2018-00025. Item 12.
Ernest Baptiste, City of Miami Code Enforcement Officer. Case that was open for a top that is on the roof that need to be removed and repair the roof. Violation was opened back in May 5th, 2018. Certified mail was sent out and the property was posted November 15, 2015. Let the record show that I took picture yesterday and it shows that a ripped blue top is on the roof.
And there's probably a logical explanation, but they didn't show up. So based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city and enter an adjudication. Property owner has until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
The next item is 13, 14, Andre Knowles. Ernest Baptiste is the officer. Case number CEEXP 2018-00182. And that property also has another case, item 15, CERCV 2018-00149.
Ernest Baptiste, City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer. This first case is for the exterior of the property. Violation was observed on August 8, 2018. Property was posted on November 13, 2018. Certified mail was sent out. I have picture of the place for the exterior. You want both pictures?
Mm-hmm.
And the RV.
What did you say about, notice?
11/13/2018. Both cases were posted at the place and certified mail was sent out.
And you have not made contact with?
No,
Mhm.
no contact, no one called me, and I visited the place and posted. No one called, and
And the RV is still there?
still there, yes.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owner has until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not resolve by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount. As to the RV, this adjudication, 350. And as to the paint, 350.
The next case is item 16, Andres Cabrera Perez. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, case CERCV 2018-00073. Item 16.
Whose case?
Item number 16, Karen Jean Lewis. Andres Cabrera Perez. It should be under letter A. Andres.
My eyes checked.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was cited back on May 29, 2018. It was tabled twice as a courtesy to the city employee whose father resides at this residence. Several times I've been in contact with the son. He advised his father was out of town, out of the country. They're gonna move the trailer, but it's still there. And the last time we were here, November 8, 2018, he was found guilty. Ooh. Yeah. So that's where we're at now on December the 5th.
You saying that the violation is still there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me see. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation still exists. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. The daily fine amount of $500 is hereby ratified.
The next item is item number 21, Bernos Matherin. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, and the case number CGMP 2018-00127, item 21.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was originally cited on April the 17th, 2018, under General Maintenance of Properties to pressure clean and paint the property. Oh wait, correction, this is for the roof, to repair the roof. When I went by on November 13th, 2018, I did make contact with a lady that was outside. and she advised that the homeowner is aware of the work that needs to be done at the property. However, he's just not doing any of the work. It was hand delivered to A. Bernos on November the 13th, 2018.
Officer Noel. Tell me about notice.
The notice to appear was hand delivered to A. Bernos on November the 13th at 4:10 p.m. and the notice to appear was mailed out October 20. No, that's when it was scheduled.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter into adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not resolve by the abatement date, that will be a daily fine amount of $500.
Would you like to call the customer that just walked in, your magistrate?
Yes.
That's gonna be item 85, Martha Martinez. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. The case number CERCV 2018-00161, item 85. Thank you.
Here. Here. Pilar.
No, she's the owner, but I can translate it.
Just the owner?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to translate for her? What do you do her?
No, I don't know what about she has
What are you
The
to
appearance.
her for the translation? Because we normally have a translator who left because you guys are so late.
no, but I can translate it if you want.
I guess swear both of them in. We're just gonna have to.
You gotta raise your hand and you have to swear you in. Do you swear? You're gonna translate for her? You gotta swear,
Okay.
you gotta raise your hand too because you're gonna be tested. You gotta also swear.
So do him first.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you? Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth?
No, he's the translator.
Yeah,
Order.
que usted acepta decir toda la
Swear him in
verdad.
as a translator. I don't know.
Swear him as a translator?
Yeah.
Do you solemnly swear, raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the translations which you're about to give in this proceeding will be accurate and correct to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Let's say I do.
Yes.
Okay, now he can translate for her.
When I say this, you just translate for her. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear?
Yes.
You gotta translate for her. Do you swear
Que usted acepta decir
or
la verdad.
affirm
La-
that the testimony
testificar
you're about to give in this proceeding
acerca de lo que van a preguntar,
will be the truth,
que todo va a ser la
the whole
verdad,
truth,
solo la verdad,
and nothing but the truth?
y nada más que la verdad.
Just say I do.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Good evening, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. On August 13, 2018, the property was cited for a recreational vehicle. There is a Jesus Cristo trailer that is parked on the property, and in order for it to remain on the property owner would need to obtain a variance.
Hold. Go ahead and translate for her.
Estaba un vehículo
Speaking to the mic.
rosa. Estaba un vehículo que dice Jesucristo vive, salva, liberta y que dice que para ellos es un vehículo recreacional. Entonces, que si estabas notificado antes de eso, acerca de eso.
No what? Hmm?
No, she said no.
No to what? There wasn't a question.
Yeah, she didn't know about it.
Huh?
She doesn't has advisements about that. That the first time the letter that you sent
Mhm.
that she said that's the only.
Do you have a photograph of the?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, is this yours?
Yeah, she has it.
Okay. Does she understand the violation?
It's August 30,
Huh?
August 13, right? De agosto 13.
All right. Does she understand the violation? Does she understand this cannot stay there? That it has to be moved? Or she, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Que dice que eso es una violación y que tú lo tienes que mover. Pero tú sabías de eso.
No.
She didn't know about it. She has to move or no. It's the first time that
Okay.
she knows about it.
All right. So she either has to move it or she has to get a variance for them to allow her to keep that there on the property.
Que tienes que moverlo o puedes enfrentar un fine, una multa.
Huh?
But
The application that you have there, is the variance. No, the other one. Yes. If you filled that out and you submit it to the department and they approve it, it can stay on the property. If they say no, it has to go.
dice que tienes que
No.
llenar esto y
He
una
can't
vez que
do
lo
it.
llenes, entonces vienes y una vez que ellos van a decidir si lo puede tener o no lo puede tener la propiedad. ¿Alguna pregunta? Sí, esto sí lo sabía que ella tiene que llenar
English.
esto.
English.
Oh, she said.
What happened there? What did I miss? Hmm?
Okay, she said that you can extend the permit to because she want to fill out this application. She want to do like you say that the rule, the
Go
step by
apply
step.
for the variance. Okay. So
But
basically, I'm going to enter an adjudication. I do find that the violation exists. Find in favor of the city. She has given her till January 30th
yeah, enero
to
thir-
resolve
30,
the
right?
violation.
30, January 30.
January 30, yes.
Enero 30.
Okay, and
Thank you.
if it's not resolved, let her know there will be a daily fine amount of $200
Si
for
no
each
lo
day
hace,
that it
entonces
stays
habrá
on the
una multa de
property.
$200.
Okay?
That's okay.
All right. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
God bless you.
The next two cases are for Karen Jean Lewis, item 23 and 24 for Best Deal Investment.
Thank you. Is there an exit back there? Can they?
The first case is CEEXP 2018-00185, item 23, Best Deal Investments.
Good evening, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. On August 9th, 2018, the property was cited for exterior maintenance to pressure clean and paint the entire property because the paint is chipped. And it was also cited to obtain a permit and repair and paint the damaged fascia boards. As of November 15, 2018, when the notice to appear was posted to the property, there has been no change and no contact from the property owner. in reference to remedying the violation.
Okay, but have you been back?
Yes, I drive by that house every day, and there's no change.
Okay, so, because that's the testimony I want to hear. Because if you guys tell me that since November, it doesn't help, because between November and now, it could have been fixed. So your testimony is that as of today's hearing, it's
It's
in the
still the
same
same.
condition?
The same condition.
Okay. Let me see the photos. Okay. All right, so this was for the fascia boards, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And also to pressure clean and paint the property because the paint is chipped
okay,
along the walls
all
of the
right,
property.
yeah, okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer, I find in favor of the city. I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice to owners that failed to appear. I hereby find in favor of the city and enter an adjudication. Property owner has until January 30th to resolve, by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500 for each case.
The next case is item number 27, Krishna Agustin. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, and the case number is CEWWC 2018-00104, item 27.
Your magistrate, this property owner was here this morning. There are about 6 cases in total. I didn't realize that this one was scheduled for the evening hearing, but he's already working on remedying the violations. So we can go ahead and dismiss this because it's going to be complied.
Okay.
The next item is item 29, Clara Rowe, Ernst Baptiste is the officer, case number CEEXP 2018-00160.
Complied.
All right. Thank you.
The next item is item number 38, EGR Investments. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. Case number CETRE 2018-00001, item 38.
What happened at 37?
Vanessa Willis is not here, so tomorrow I'm gonna have to find out, because I never received an email.
Okay.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. On June 5th, 2018, a complaint was received from the neighboring property in reference to the tree that fell and is now hanging on their yard. I made contact with the property manager, Olga, who advised she would send someone out to inspect the property to cut and remove the damaged tree that's hanging on the adjacent property. As of the last reinspection to the property, when the notice to appear was posted, the tree is in the same position, no change, and on November the 8th, 2018, they were found guilty with an abatement date of November 28th.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer, I find that the violation still exists. The daily fine amount of $500 is hereby ratified.
Next case is item number 39, Edward Hoshaw. Ernst Baptiste is the officer, CEPFY 2018-00454, item 39.
Ernst Baptist City, North Miami Code Enforcement Officer. This is case that was open back in July 25th, 2018 for a car park on the front lawn. Property was posted on November 14, 2018. And I took picture, car still parked.
Is that a paved area or no?
Nope.
Mhm.
Car that killed the grass.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $200.
Next case is item number 40, Edwin Torres. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. CEGMP 2018-00126, item 40.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The property was cited on April 16, 2018 for general maintenance of property due to the roof having a blue tarp on it and needing repair. The notice to appear was posted on November 13, 2018. The violation still remains and no contact from the property owner.
All right, 1 second. Hold on. Tell me again about notice.
Notice to appear was mailed out to the property on November 19.
All right.
And on November 13, 2018, the property was posted with the notice to appear.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. I hereby find in favor of the city and enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
The next item is item 43, Excelina Noel. Jose Perez is the officer. Case CEGMP 2018-00263, item 43.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, today hearing the case for the property at 201 Northwest 124th Street, reference general maintenance of properties. This is a reference to a deteriorated awning in the rear side of the property. The property was serviced on November 15th at 12:40 p.m. It was also sent certified mail. Photographs of the incident.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owner has until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $150.
The next case is item 46, Gabrielle Cherry. Jose Perez is the officer, case CEIVY 2018-00311, item 46.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 12615 Northeast Miami Place, in reference to an inoperable vehicle on private property. We have photographs of the incident. Property was serviced on November 15th, 2018 at 2:54 p.m. Property was also sent certified mail. The city wants an adjudication so we could have the vehicle removed from private property.
How do we know it's inoperable?
The tires are all flat. The vehicle has not moved in several months.
Okay. You know, I can't tell. I can't see the tires from this photos. All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice. The owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owner has until January 30th. I wish to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $250.
The next two cases are 51 and 52, Gwendolyn Spence. Jose Perez is the officer. Case number CENBR 2018-00046 and CESSP 2018-00216, item 51 and 52.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today you're hearing the case in reference to the property at 13090 Griffin Boulevard, in reference to storm shutter placements. Property was serviced on November 19th at 12:56 p.m. Property was also sent certified mail. We have photographs of the incident.
This is for both the storm shutters and
Storm shutters throughout the entire property that are closed.
the address numbers.
Yes, that's the next case.
You can go ahead and go into the next case as well.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez referenced the property at 13090 Griffin Boulevard. This is in reference to number of all buildings. The property needs to place address numbers where it can be visible from the public right-of-way. Property was serviced on the same date, November 19th at 12:56 p.m. It was also sent certified mail. We also have photographs of the property showing no address.
All right, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violations do exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication on both cases as to case number CENBR 2018000046 as to the address numbers, adjudication, $100. As to CESSP 2018000216, the shutters, adjudication, $350.
The next item is item 57, Jasmine Jennings, Ernst Baptiste is the officer, case CERCV 2018-00029. Item 57.
Ernst Baptiste, City of Miami Code Enforcement Officer. Case that was open, let me, for the record, I want to enter this case as a repeat violator because that case I brought them back here and they were found guilty, and I was moved to another area of the city, and then they brought the boat back, although he was found guilty and he was lean, I believe, and they didn't. Right after, they called me and said, okay, I'm gonna remove the boat, and then I moved on the west side and came back again. The boat is the same place, so I posted the property on November 16, 2018, took picture. This case was open March 13, 2018, and I have picture that I took on November 16.
In addition to posting, what other notice was provided?
Certified mail was sent out to the property.
All right. Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation still exists or does exist. I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer, I find that this is a repeat violation. Property owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $600.
Next item is item 58, Jean Lemarin. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, and the case number CEGMP 2018-00123, item 58.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The property was originally cited April 16, 2018, in reference to a blue tarp on the roof and the roof needing repair. The notice to appear was hand-delivered to the property owner, Jean Lemarin. Notice to appear was also mailed certified, and as of today, December 5th, 2018, the violation remains.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice. Given notice, the property owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owner has until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
The next case is item 61, Jeannie Richards. John Dorval is the officer, case number CESSP 2018-00166, item 61.
Good evening. This case is for SSP, which is shutters placement. The property was posted on November the 14th, 2018. The initial violation was written on June the 5th, 2018. The property was also sent certified mail. I will give you that date. Pardon me. Where it was sent certified mail, I have the receipt here. November the 19th, 2018, sorry.
Okay.
I have pictures in the file. This property was posted, as I stated before, and here are the pictures of the as of today, this morning, there has been no compliance.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find a violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice. Owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $350.
The next two cases are for Jose Perez, item 62 and 63 for JG Reg 3 LLC, case CEFAW 2018-00207 and 208.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 12245 Northwest 2nd Avenue. This property is in violation of the maintenance of fences, walls, and hedges. This was previously adjudicated. Property was served. Ordered to comply on November 13th at 4:20 p.m. This also was served. The notice to appear on November 15th, 2018 at 12:20 p.m. The property was also sent certified mail. Compliance has not been met. The city wishes to roll back the fines to November 28th, the last reinspection date. Want me to go on to the next one?
Photos.
Oh, photos.
Okay, you can go into the next case.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, reference the property at 12245 Northwest 2nd Avenue. Property is in violations of the maintenance of fences, walls, and hedges. Property was previously adjudicated. Property was served. The order to comply on November 13th at 4:20 p.m. Property was also served. The notice to appear at November 15th at 12:20 p.m. The property is not in compliance. We wish to roll back the fines to November 28th. Photographs of the violation.
All right, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violations, I find that the violations still exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice to owners that failed to appear. The daily fine amount, of $150 on case number CEFAW 2018-00207 is ratified. Retroactive to November 28th, 2018, and fine amount $500, and the case number CEFAW 2018000208 is ratified, retroactive to November 28, 2018.
The next item is item number 66, King Edward. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. Permit CEBLR 2018-00061, item 66.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The property was cited on September the 4th, 2018, in reference to the property address being painted the same color as the house, making it not visible from the public right-of-way. Notice to appear was posted on November 15, 2018. Notice to appear was also mailed certified, and the violation still remains.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice to owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $100.
The next item is item 72, Lorette Delafonte. Wayne Clark is the officer. Case number CEWWC 2018-00010.
Wayne Clark City, North Miami Code Compliance. This is in reference to damaged window at the front of the property. The property was posted with good notice on November 13th, 2018. No one from the property has came forward. Reference to the violation still exists. I'd like to submit the photos for the record.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice to owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $300.
The next item is item 73, Lewis G. and Lewis A. Alexander. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer. Case CEGEF 2018-00004.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The property was cited for a garbage enclosure. The violation was observed July 26, 2018. Notice to appear was posted at the property on November 16, 2018, and certified mail was sent out. As of today, December 5th, 2018, there's been no contact from the property owner and the violation remains.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice to owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $200.
The next item is item 74 and 75, Luis Jimenez. Ernest Baptiste is the officer. Case number CEEXP 2018-00162 and CEOSV 2018-00062.
Ernest Baptiste, City, North Miami Code Enforcement Officer. This is two cases that was open. One is for the exterior of the property. The paint is peeling. Property need to be repainted. And for storing dump truck at the place. The violation was observed on July 16, 2018, and property was posted on November 13, 2018. I'm showing that certified mail was sent out, and I have a picture.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Did I hear this case before? Yes. Just when I remember the dump truck. All right. I find that the violation still exists. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. The daily fine amount of $250 under case number CEEXP 2018000162 is ratified retro to November 28th. Daily fine amount of $500 is ratified under case number CEOSV 2018000062, retroactive to November 28th,
The next case is,
2018.
the next case is item 79, Marie Ambrose. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, and the case is CEEXP 2018-00205, item 79.
Good evening, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. On August 13, 2018, the property was cited for exterior main residence, and they were supposed to repair the damaged fascia boards and pressure clean and paint the remaining fascia boards as needed. Notice to appear was posted to the property and mail certified, and as of today, December 5th, 2018, the violation remains.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find the violation does exist. Find in favor of the city. Enter an adjudication. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Enter an adjudication. Property owner has until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
The next case is item 97, Roberto Alvarez. Wayne Clark is the officer, CEGMP 2018-00198, item 97.
Wayne Clark City, North Miami Code Compliance. This case is in reference to general property, general maintenance of property, window awnings. Shows mildew and dirt. They were posted, the property was posted on November 13th, 2018, 9:10 a.m. Have a photo for the record. I went by there this morning and nothing has been done, and it's just like on the photo.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city. Enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. Should the violation not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $350.
The next item is 113, Yolette Meldor, Wayne Clark is the officer, case number CEIVY 2018-00294.
Wayne Clark City, North Miami Code Compliance. This case is referencing to an inoperable vehicle on the property. The property was posted on November 13th, 2018 at 9:20 a.m. I went by on yesterday and took some photos, and I haven't heard anything from the owner of the vehicle. Although the neighbor said that he mentioned had something wrong with the transmission. However, the vehicle shows mildew from sitting for a long time, for quite a while, and it has flat tires, expired tag. I'd like to submit the photo for the record.
Yes. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. I hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount, $250.
The next case is item 115, Yves Sanfort, John Dorville is the officer, case CENBR 2018-00073.
Good evening.
Good night. Have a good night.
Good night.
This case is in reference to numbers not being visible from the public right of way. It's in reference to property 1223 Northeast 137th Terrace. This property was posted on November the 15th, 2018 at 10:09 a.m. It was also sent certified mail on November the 20th. I have pictures in the file. This is a duplex. This property has two addresses. One side has the address, the other one does not. As the picture clearly shows, the address is painted over. I've had no contact with this property owner, no compliance.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners failed to appear. I hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until January 30th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $100.
The next item on the agenda is 103, Susan Carpentier. Jose Perez is the officer, case CEFAW 2018-00205.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case at property 12105 Northwest 2nd Avenue in reference to maintenance of fence, walls, and hedges. Property was previously adjudicated. Property was served the order to comply on November 13th, 2018 at 4:03 p.m. Property was served notice to appear at November 15th at 12:31 p.m. It was also sent certified mail. Property has not complied. Here are the photographs.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find the violation still exists. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. The daily fine amount of $300 is hereby ratified, retroactive.
The next case is 111 for Jose Perez, Valcon Dynamic, CEFAW 2018-00215.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 12225 North Miami Avenue, reference to maintenance of fence, walls, and hedges. Property was previously adjudicated. Property was served the order to comply on November 13th, 2018 at 12:57 p.m. Property was also served notice to appear on November 15th at 2:18 p.m. It was also sent certified mail. Property has not complied. Attached are the photographs.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violations still exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners failed to appear. The daily fine amount of $200 is hereby ratified.
The next case is item 104, Sylvia Salan. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, case number CEGMP 2018-00118. Sylvia, 830 Northeast 138th Street.
Good evening, Code Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This violation has been complied.
The next case is 112 Winley Corporation. Karen Jean Lewis is the officer, case number CEEXE 2018-00009.
Complied.
And those are all the items on our agenda.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well,